Hi, you're listening to the My Body, My Story podcast.
I wish that I had started my own business back then, but you especially when you're a single parent, you go for the secure option.
This is the 45 over 45 chapter where we celebrate rule breakers and role models, the women who inspire us to live life our way and to show their sensuality, beauty, soul, and true essence. Here, we talk about what it's like to be 45 plus, adjusting to the changes that come with time, and we listen to the stories of our participants. If you have an interesting story, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us at info@alexandrawalker.com. That's Alexandra spelt with a K-S. Or visit our website, alexandrawalker.com.
Hello everyone and welcome to My Body, My Story project, and today with us in the studio Annie, and while she's sitting in the makeup chair and Chitra is doing makeup for her, I'll be asking her a few questions. Hi Annie, welcome to the studio, welcome to the project.
Hi.
And let's start and tell us a bit about yourself.
So I am 54. I am the CEO of a recruitment business. Mm-hmm. I take care of my 90-year-old mother and I have a 30-year-old son.
Wow.
And we live on the Central Coast.
What are you most passionate about?
Oh, that's a really hard question. Family and friends I am passionate about. I love my work. Mm-hmm. I love my life, really. I'm fairly passionate about a lot of things, so it's really hard to kind of label it down to one thing, but I can usually find passion in most things.
So you mentioned that you're CEO of the interesting company. I know because we spoke before the interview, and I know you mentioned a bit what you do, and it's sounds very interesting. So, what is that?
So I have two arms to the business. So I have a company called Sprout Recruitment, which I also, if you ask my son, he'll say he's a co-founder, but I think that's probably a long bow. But then I also consult for a driver labour hire company out of Brisbane. So life's pretty busy, but Sprout specialise in real estate recruitment. So we do property managers, sales agents, all of that stuff. So it's interesting, it's exciting, it's hectic, it's stressful, it's champagne and razor blades.
Yeah. So you have good connection with the real estate agents.
Yeah.
You're in the right business. Okay, so where people can find you if they want to?
They can find me at sproutrecruitment.com.au and my contact details are on there.
Okay, perfect. So I was going to ask a few more questions about you. Where you were born, like which area of Australia? You were born in Sydney or Central Coast? You said you lived there.
I'm born in the UK.
Oh, here you go.
UK born, just outside of Manchester.
So how come you ended up in Australia?
Well, it's always a man, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yeah. We all can relate here.
Absolutely.
Chitra is laughing.
It's how we get here. We're either convicts or we followed someone.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful place. I definitely, if they talk about, I still call Australia home, I definitely do call it home. I love it here. I love my life here.
So how long you've been living here?
1989, so
wow.
A long time.
Yeah, so you're a local now.
I am.
So do you go often back to UK?
Not often. I went just before COVID. And then my sister usually comes out here every couple of years for the cricket. She's just been out for my mum's 90th birthday. So.
And your mum is here?
Yeah, my mum lives with me.
Wow.
I know.
So you brought her
Yeah, so she came over when my marriage ended. So my son was 1. It was 1993, and my marriage ended. We were both just really young. It just didn't go the distance. And my mum came over to help me, and she never went back.
That's nice.
Blessing and a curse.
Yeah. That's interesting. How interesting those stories, like the countries like Australia and other countries where a lot of people came from different all over the world. It's interesting to hear stories, you know, how people ended up staying.
Yeah, I know. I only came for 6 months.
Yeah.
My mum came for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it seems like it's a common story. Like, you know, I used to live in Dubai and everyone used to come only for 2 years. You know? And like then people stay for either there are 2 options. Either people stay for more than 10 years or they leave in a year. So
Some people do that really weird thing as well where they just can't settle in either.
Yeah.
So they're constantly going backwards and forwards. I've got friends like that, and it's, you know, I was thinking, why do you need to go back all the time? But, you know, I guess.
they like both.
Yeah.
So talking about age, like, we know that with age we get changes and positive and negative. But let's start with positive. And what positive changes have you experienced so far with this age?
I'll call it the give a shitter meter, actually just declines. So the things that used to bother you or wind you up or aggravate you,
Yeah.
you just let them go now. You know, there comes an acceptance of you are who you are and, you know, like it or leave it. And I guess there's a certain amount of that, and I kind of like that because I was probably in my younger years, both in my career and personally, one of those people who took everything personally, and now I just, you know, shrug. It is what it is. You know, it is definitely my call of it is what it is. So there are things you can change and some things you can't change, and you just got to roll with that.
I just keep wondering why we get to this stage only with age. Is it like a tiredness from life, or it's just, we would like to think it's wisdom, but I don't know.
I think there is that, you know. I think there's wisdom, and then I think you meet so many idiots along the way that you just think, I just don't want to do that anymore. You know, and I was talking to a girlfriend last week and she said to me, do you think it's as you get older? And I said, yeah, I think you get to the point you think, I have been down this road before, or I have, you know, this has been my experience before, and you just don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
You know, and life is short, you know. Life is very short. You've got to live every day and just get on with it and, you know, embrace the joy, enjoy the day.
Yeah, that's true. And what is the challenge with this age for you?
Menopause. Menopause weight, menopause moods, menopause, menopause.
Yeah.
Why do these things always start with men?
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that. That's an interesting question.
What have they got to do with it? You know, it's crazy. It really is.
They're in charge of everything.
How can that be right? We know that's not right.
I hope your husband is not listening.
I hope he's not listening to it. He's in charge. No, he's really in charge of everything. Yeah.
So, what would you say was your greatest accomplishment so far?
My family, definitely. I have a great bond with my son. You know, we called him the golden child, but, you know, he is my one and only too, but, you know, we're still strong. We still talk every day, even though he's now moved out and married. And he's not a mummy's boy. He's just, you know, we just have a really strong connection, so I'm really proud of that. My family, keeping everybody together. My business, you know, I started that during COVID. who starts a recruitment business in the second month of COVID?
The smart person.
So I love that, and I'm really proud of like my family and my friends, and my best friend I've had for 30 years, and I just love her to pieces. And I'm not saying that we never argue, but we've weathered the storm, and that longevity is something that I'm really proud of.
Yeah. I also have only one friend of 30 years, and I know it's hard with age. You just realize that how hard to meet like-minded people and to become friends.
Yeah.
Really.
And adult friendships and relationships are hard. Yeah. They're not as easy as they were when you were, 20, or, everybody's got responsibilities, everybody has, different things that they need to do, and they are hard. Managing the time is hard.
I heard a few times during this project that it's hard for women of our age to establish new connections, like to find not even friends, but people whom they can be, in touch on a regular basis, and just to to go for a coffee or lunch or a chat, And I was thinking how hard it is generally to find your people, but with age, because you said what is the term you use? Shitometer.
Give a shitometer.
Give a shitometer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like barely moving.
Yeah, so you just don't want to invest in other people, because you've been hurt,
Yeah, I think it is hard, and I think, COVID's put that extra pressure on people as well, But where do you go to? They should have not that I've ever been on this, ever. They should have Tinder for friends.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard, because a lot of people, I found that when I moved to Australia, a lot of people make their friendship groups fairly early on in their relationship. So when they're at school, and those relationships carry on throughout. So it's difficult to meet, I guess, like-minded women who, it doesn't always have to be serious all the time. You can have just coffee and a bit of fun and,
Yeah. So, okay, you got me thinking now about this new
So you want to do Tinder, don't you, for friends? We'll call it Friender.
Okay, join me. Let's
do it together.
That's how you've been the witness how business is created.
See, Facebook started somewhere.
In the garage. No, actually, Facebook started in Harvard.
That's true.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give your 30-year-old self if you could meet her? What would you tell her?
Take the chances, I think. Take the opportunities as they come along, and don't second guess yourself. And have confidence in your ability. I wish that I had started my own business back then, but especially when you're a single parent, you go for the secure option.
Of course.
The regular money coming in and things like that. And I guess that, timing is everything, but back yourself would definitely be one of my things. And listen to your mother.
Yeah, that's a big one. Listen to what I think we had Terry on the podcast who would say to herself, same, yeah, listen to your mother.
Not always, but just maybe a little more.
So what advice would you give younger women who will eventually undergo these age changes, but they're still young at the moment?
Don't look at it as if something that's never going to happen, because the chances are it will. I thought I was going to be one of those people that kind of moved through it, and, I get to 60 and go, oh, I don't even remember when it happened. But, I would say embrace it as well, and embrace the liberation that it gives you. But take care of yourself and take time out for yourself, because I think that's all part of the process too. And find out what works for you. For some people it's, different therapies and things like that. But yeah, I would find what works for you and live your best life would probably be it for me.
It's a good advice. So if we would talk about body image, where do you think this idea comes from and of perfect body image?
Really interesting. It's a great question. I don't think it particularly is the media, or maybe it is the media. I think fashion, and not necessarily how that's depicted, but you know, the sizes have got smaller and smaller. Runways have got smaller and smaller, and the media only puts out what's in there. I just think they're unrealistic expectations. You know, we live in a world of filters, surgery, augmentation, you know, and my mum, if I ever listened to her, would say, people these days are never happy. You know, they always want more. They always want to look different. They want all of those things. And I don't know, I think it's a whole range of things that have impacted on the body image. You know, my other half has an 18-year-old daughter, and I know that was huge. Like when she was 14, 15, 16, you know, we have this thing where you just go eat a burger. But, you know, it's unrealistic images and expectations of how people should and could look. Yeah. I mean, who looks like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills every day unless you're getting hair and makeup done every day?
And I think also it's like when someone is trying to influence you, you have to have, it should be good receiving base. You know, like if you don't think of yourself as a fat person, nobody can persuade you that you are. And I think partially it comes from inner insecurity, which cultivated by, you know, peers, relatives, media, whatever. But the beginning of all this story is the inner insecurity, like, or self-image, you know,
I
how you
agree,
perceive
yeah.
yourself, you know, like, I think that listening so many women answering this question, and most of the women say it's media, but I always ask myself, okay, but media, it should be a ready base so they can affect you, like nothing. They're not that powerful, you know.
I think as well, like if you look at, I guess, how things have changed, like over the last 10 or 15 years, and I think a lot of people, both male and female, have self-image, I guess, dysmorphia, because we're kind of living in this land where it's all instantaneous gratification, you know.
Yep.
And so if we'll talk about our Frienda for a while, or Tinder, I mean, that whole business model is based on, do I like the look of this person?
Yeah.
It's no wonder that people are insecure. You know, if somebody's knocking you back left, right and centre just based on one picture or two pictures, then that surely has to impact on your ego and how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, we are quick to make judgments on things these days, whereas, you know, I guess years and years ago, you would meet somebody in a bar, you would get talking to them, you would, you know, and then it's not just, it might be an instant, yes, I like the look of you, but now it's, you know, like, oh, your nose might look a bit too big for me, so, boop. I don't even know what swipe left or right is, but, you know, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like you're making this snap judgment on a person just by the way that they look. And there's filters, and this and that, you know. And are we ever happy? What is happy? So it's, I don't know. I think that's got a lot to do with it.
I have a development idea of this business, so that's gonna be Friender. What's your
Frienda.
Frienda without pictures. It's funny that the photographer would suggest that.
That's like dating in the dark, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's a great concept behind a TV show. You know, I love watching stuff like that because they're not making their judgments based on how somebody looks. It's obviously
Exactly.
they
Yeah,
do.
and it's to do with friendship. So you can be friend with a person looking anyhow. So I think the main feature is gonna be exchange of jokes, ideas. Based. You will find friends based on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Like a lot of relationships, they go, when I first met my partner and, I wasn't instantly attracted, but then we had something in common and the relationship grew from there.
Yeah.
And I guess the whole Tinder thing and whatever else there is out there takes that away because you're going straight to the delete.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like mobile phones and cameras, there used to be nothing better than taking a roll of film in and waiting 3 days and then getting all the dodgy photos back.
Yeah.
Whereas now you get one where your eyes are slightly closed and delete. So there's very rarely a really bad photo or a random moment because they're all selfie duck face. So the random ones with bits of lemon sticking out of your mouth and looking not your best are obsolete these days.
So what it would be for you, your perfect body image?
For me?
Or your, let put me other way. What it would be for you, your perfect body?
Thinner thighs.
Oh, you see? Still visual. Big.
Still visual. As in person, who would have my perfect body? Or
If for you, you say, okay, I have perfect body now. So what it should be, so you can say that.
First it should be healthy.
Yeah.
And strong.
Yeah.
Those are the two things. But then I'd like thinner thighs and less squidgy menopause belly. But I think that's another thing as you get older. You have to take care of yourself, and if you're carrying too much weight and it's becoming a health risk, then you have to take care. But that squeezing into things that don't fit, and is it a 10, 12 or 14, just become less and less important, really.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the health and strength piece definitely way more in. Interesting question, though. I hadn't really thought about it before, apart from the thighs.
Yeah, because I think that when we realize, like, okay, what's my perfect body and why I want to be thinner? Is that because I want to fit into my favorite clothes, or because if I'm even 10 kilos more but I look healthy and fit, why do I need to lose weight? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. And I think that's a really interesting one as well, and which ties into the whole body image piece. If I am thinner, will people love me more? If I am thinner with longer hair extensions, will I get promoted faster? Yeah. So it's...
Will I find better partner?
Will I find a better partner? Will that person that doesn't particularly like me now like me then? And that's a really ridiculous kind of self-expectation, really, isn't it? That you're altering yourself and who you are so that somebody else might like you more. I mean, if I've learned anything...
Or for somebody else whom you haven't even met yet.
Exactly. And I think that, when I was in my 30s and 40s, and RSVP was the big thing then, but you would actually meet people, but and it was like, oh, that person didn't like me. Is it because my bum's too big, or because my arms are a bit fidgety, or all of these things? But ultimately, that probably says more about them than it does about you. But it is what it is, and I think I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin now as I've got older. I wear a bikini on the beach or by the pool. If you don't like it, don't look. Very few people will ever remember. Oh, do you remember that large girl that we saw in the bikini? They don't say that. Well, as soon as you're gone, they don't even remember who you are.
Yeah.
So, wear what you want and do what you want within reason.
What does it mean to you, feeling good and looking good, and what comes first?
Oh, I think that feeling good has to come first. The looking good. Mind you, having said that, if you look good, then you can feel good. And that can change your mood. All tied into one for me, because you can look great but feel really terrible.
Yeah.
And you can, feel great but look really terrible. So I don't know.
So it's interesting that on some days when I feel good, I look at myself and I like my body, so I look good. I feel, oh my God, I look good. But 2 days later, when I don't feel that well, I look at myself and I don't like my body. So it's like, it's the same body, nothing changed in 2 days.
Just your mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting thing.
Mindset is really interesting though, isn't it? It's like, should I eat that? And the guilt that goes with like food and fun and alcohol and things, how will that impact my body? I shouldn't. I think we live in the land of guilt.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I can't eat that cake. I shouldn't eat that bread. I shouldn't do this, unless it's a health thing. You never know when this time on earth is your last. So whilst taking care of your body, you've still got to enjoy it.
And I noticed that with age, the body reacts faster, and I can understand signals. It signals better, and so my measurement now is how my body feels, like how I feel. If I drink that and I don't feel well next day, so I don't want to, or if I eat this and I feel myself like bloated,
yeah.
I don't want to eat that. So, but if I drink and I feel good, so that was good for me. Like it's you have to, I think, listen to your body, what it says, but you have to learn.
Yeah. And I think that's what we don't do when we're younger, because we just keep going.
Yeah.
The body might not feel so great, but you still do it anyway.
It's like when you buy a new car, it can manage anything, but it's to do like how you look after it and do the maintenance or not. And that's some people end up 5 years with a very weared off car and
That's right. Rust panel needs a bit of panel beating and spray painting.
Exactly. Okay, so what makes you feel the most beautiful?
Wine, no. I love getting dressed up. I love looking pretty. Oh, I don't know. That's such a hard one. The superficial of the, I'm loving the makeup and the hair, and you always feel more super confident and beautiful when that is, but what makes you feel beautiful? It has to be the way you think as well. It's a bit like the movie Shallow Hal. If you're having bad thoughts, then that kind of manifests itself out, whereas if you're enjoying life, and I think that radiates through as well. So I think joy makes you beautiful too. Fun, humour. I think all of those things combine to make you feel beautiful. I'm not sure if that kind of got me to where I needed to, but I think I probably need to think a little bit more about that one.
Yeah, feeling happy, I think.
Yeah, and content. There's a lot to be said for being content, and not just in search of the next thing. It's, being content.
This is hardest one, yeah.
Being happy in your own skin. There has to come a point of that where you're not constantly reaching for something else.
And my last and favorite question, if you have any favorite quote about being a woman?
I don't think it's specifically about being a woman, but, it is what it is. Move on. And I think, have you ever watched that movie, He's Just Not That Into You?
Yeah, I love this movie.
Women need to work that out sooner.
Yeah.
And, men need to work that out too. But, it is what it is. Live your life, love it, and enjoy.
Good one. Thank you, Annie. Thank you very much. I love the conversation, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of the day in your photo shoot.
I'm looking forward to feeling beautiful.
If you have an interesting story, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us at info@alexandrawalker.com. That's Alexandra spelt with a KS. Or visit our website, alexandrawalker.com.